26th of July, Wednesday, 8 minutes past 11 a.m. in Australia. Here's my latest video blog. Two things. I'm going to just share with you two articles today about this Bitcoin fork. A little bit of information's come in regards to what's going to happen on August 1st. So that's just a little bit of insight, and I'm going to run through that after I just touch on, I did a video yesterday based on what I feel is a manufactured Digibyte event, in the sense that we saw on the 7th or 23rd of the 7th, Digibyte was pretty much going horizontal, and then all of a sudden out of the blue, and I happen to be just looking at it because it is one of my cryptos that I'm sort of eagerly watching at the moment. And I watched all of a sudden this activity happen and occur, and this is in Bitshares, and the volume started to increase. It was at 170 Bitcoin at that point, so pretty small amount of volume, and then it went up to 450, and I thought, oh, here we go. And I've seen that before, and then it pushed up into the 2,000 Bitcoin. By the end of the day, it was sitting at around about 5,000 Bitcoin, and that was shows you that there was a lot of money coming in, and the market cap for Bitcoin, for Digibyte, I think was around about 110 million, and then all of a sudden it's raced up to close to the 200 million. I haven't checked today because I'm not. That's not really the big thing. But apart from the reality that a whole heap of money entered the space in such a short period of time. Now, it could be a number of things. It could be someone with a lot of money who wants to bring in and buy up a big proportion, a big, what would you call it, position in Digibyte. Now, there's no doubt, you know, the best way to inject big amounts of money into a space is over a period of time, so you can achieve the best average. You wouldn't just go and buy all the sell orders. Otherwise, you're just going to be paying too much. Some people do that, you know, if they're happy to pay that particular average price. But if you've got millions, and we're looking about $80 million was put into the space in 2-3 days, over 48 hours, there's no doubt you'd put that in stages and slowly build it up. Now, what I talked about was that I believe that this is a very well calculated pump, in the sense that what they've done is they've got a lot of money, they've got automated bots. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of these movements and flashes on the screen here, you see particular prices come in and out. Sometimes it's the same price, sometimes it's a dummy price, and you can even see that, you know, the price will come in and then the price will go away. Now, when you look at the market history, that particular order for that moment didn't sell. Because it was there for too short a period of time. It was in and out. So for it to go on and off is a very irregular behaviour for anyone that's actually legitimately trying to place an order, unless it's an error. But someone doesn't continually press a button, make error after error, and, you know, putting in orders in and out. What it does, and this is the big thing about bots, is it creates attention. It creates energy. You know, when you see the prices flashing at a certain price point, you know, you can feel it. You go, oh, there's a lot of activity. And if you're about to place an order, it also can be very confusing, because what it does is challenges you to make a decision on the particular price point that you would like to enter or exit the market, whether that's a sell or a buy order. Now, if these prices are going up rapidly and slowly, or whatever it is in that particular period of time, sometimes you can make a mistake. You tend to get a little bit impatient, and you'll set your preferred price at a slightly higher price above all the flashing, if that makes sense. And anyone that's new to trading, and I admit I have probably done that in the past, based on probably a misunderstanding of what all of this is. But I've since been in the market long enough, and I know that, you know, cryptos haven't been around long, and we're seeing a new type of energy in regards to these exchanges, where there are lots of Autobots and things happening. So it's quite, you know, it's quite alive. I mean, compare it to the stock exchange. You know, go and have a look at a gold mine, a particular gold mine, or a banking share. You know, like banks maybe have a little bit more activity, but some of these other shares are just very stagnant, and there's no excitement. You can pretty much make a very cool, calm, collected price point or an entry point, and if you're very patient, you just sit there, and it might realise in 1 or 2 days. With this particular space, you've got a lot of people looking to trade, make certain percentages over a certain period of time. So they're very, very active in the space and looking at these prices. And I think when you look at the social media side of it with the telegrams and there are a lot of young people going, oh, it's an uptrend, quick, get in there, buy, buy, buy. And what happens is new energy comes into the space, and these and I don't want to be patronising, so call them kids. I was a kid once. But, they're placing orders based on the uptrend, or they would call this an uptrend. And they may see it as, it's due time for Digibyte to make a recovery. It's a trend, especially when it happens over 2 days. Because you may be sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then you see that it's gone up, 20, 30, 40, 50% or more over 2 days. And then all of a sudden you see the third pump here, which I talked about, was the third phase, and then you decide to get into the space because you get a little bit impatient, you don't want to miss out. And that's what FOMO is, fear of missing out. You think, it's something you believe in and you wouldn't want it to race off to 2,000 sats. We've seen it happen before. Whatever goes up must come down. However, with the event last night as well, for me it was around about, I think it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. We saw a bit of a flash crash with Bitcoin, and there was some news that came out, and I'm not sure if it was connected, but I will show you that in a minute. And what happened was this particular group who is pumping Digibyte at the moment got wiped out. They have a buy wall. Now, I've talked about this. There is a deliberate buy wall. I'm going to try to bring it up. It's of 8 Bitcoin. Now, it's sitting at 684 right at this moment. The highest bid price is 703. Now, it always sits around about 15 or so down from the top. Now, it also moves up 6 sats, or in blocks of 6. Now, I also know that this particular amount of 8 Bitcoin is over here in my Steem.com blog that I wrote in relation to my video yesterday. It's 1,266,650 Digibyte. It's the same order. That order's been there for 3 days, and it's been going up and down. There it is now on this screen. If I could just pause that. It's now sitting on its own at 684, 1266650. This is their marker. It's their protection against an aggressive dump. Now, yesterday it got wiped off, and because someone just went bang, whether it was them and they decided to pull out and take a certain return with the intentions of coming back in, because for about 6:30 this morning, nothing was really happening after that flash. I was actually asleep, woke up this morning and everything had gone pretty horizontal, and I thought, okay, that was very interesting. Nothing really happened, and then all of a sudden this 8 Bitcoin order reappeared. So they've re-established it, and all of a sudden we've seen this big surge since 6:30 a.m. this morning, and it went from 6:20 up to 7:30, and obviously it goes up and down. But again, this particular buy wall is in there again, protecting that particular asset. Now, when it goes down, there's a period of time when it starts to crash. Okay, when I say crash, I mean the price starts to pull back. Now, it was a 684. Now, before I started this video, I was showing a friend of mine, and it was sitting at 701. Okay, it was sitting at 701, and the buy orders at that stage were about 715 sats. But these guys, what they're doing is they're buying and selling their own orders. They're creating energy at both sides. They're creating averages, and a lot of this would be done by software. They know what they're trying to achieve in any 30-minute block and any 1-hour block. So be mindful that what I'm trying to get at is that's what this space is going to evolve into. It's not just about energy and fundamentals of a business and the normal person coming in and getting excited about a particular cryptocurrency, and we all put our $20 in and we see an uptrend based on genuine market influences. What we're seeing is manufactured influence to the cryptocurrency sector. We saw that in March. $80 billion doesn't just come from normal people. There wasn't enough energy for that to occur, I believe. Not to say that once that was injected, it didn't create its own amount of energy, because it was such a big amount, it got everyone's attention. Same with this, it gets people's attention. That's the whole idea of it, is to come in, they come in early, they build up their own what would you call it, position at, with this Digibyte. They may have already had X amount of Bitcoin on the side. They've already may have had a pretty good position of Bitcoin, Digibyte in readiness for this particular pump. I mean, it was at 420 sats. You know, for 3 or 4 hours they accumulated here till it got to about 485, 487, and then wham bam, over about 3 hours it got it up to 200 sats. They pumped it to 200, and they would have been buying and selling all the way up there. And their long game here is 3 days, 4 days ahead. You know, they know that they can buy at 600, they can then go horizontal for a period of time and buy and sell and keep growing their position while probably making some profit and moving it out and doing other things with it. But I think their big end game is to get people into the space, excited into the space. So by day 3, FOMO starts kicking out. Lots of talk in the telegrams. People like me doing videos. I mean, I could be saying, guys, this is an uptrend. Wow, I love Digibyte. Go buy Digibyte right now. You know, you're going to miss out because, you know, have a look at the markets. It's not manufactured at all. It's just that's the fundamentals of this business are taking it forward. And, you know, in the end, we have X amount of thousands of people, maybe a few other big people with some money injecting the space. They start buying up at the high, up at the 800 mark. And then when this pump group has decided that they're ready to take out, what you'll see is this really slow retracement. And some people will say, oh, but that's normal market ebbs and flows. But I can tell you it's a very, very systematic pullback. Because once they've accumulated this mass amount of position, they're going to slowly bleed it over a period of time. And you'll find, even while it's bleeding, I bet you this buy wall is still there for hours and hours and hours. And you'll start to see the volume start to drift out of Bitshares as well, out of the overall volume, as people realise that it's on a retracement. Some people will start selling, and just the people who did buy at the top, there'll be some panic selling. Some people who bought it at 700 will sell at 750 because they'll just take their small amount of profit, and then, you know, a week later we find that Digibyte might be back at 550 or 600. Now, yesterday, after we had this, I think this little flash crash wasn't necessarily part of the plan. I mean, were they in on the inside? It sort of seemed really good timing, to be honest. I was actually expecting a movement. If you look at the time between each pump on the third tier, I was expecting it either to go up to the next level, or it actually just dumped, and the whole market dumped. And there's no doubt that there are normal factors here, but we're still subjected to big money. I mean, someone who goes and pulls out X amount of Bitcoin to ensure that it drops by $300 or $200 is what we saw last night, shows that they've got a lot of money that they just took out of that space in pretty much a very, very short period of time. Would have set off a whole heap of stop losses, and we saw this big drop, in a very aggressive drop, and it pretty much crashed the whole market. And we're sort of seeing a recovery here from Digibyte, but is it a natural recovery? I don't believe it is. I do believe it's a pump group. I don't know how long they're going to take this on. I think they've decided to push it back up. It went from 634 back up to 736 over the last 3 or 4 hours since it's been up. So they're definitely taking the price up. And it might get back up to that 800, you know, and I could be completely wrong, and in 2 weeks' time it's at 2,000 sats, but I just know that regardless of the intentions, it's not necessarily with the intentions of crashing it again. I think the intentions here are to create energy into the space and to maximize their profit based on Autobots, and pretty much via the manipulation of big money. And I think that's what I'm talking about. Just be mindful, because it can go both ways, and that's the thing about these massive injections of cash, is that we do tend to buy on a high. Natural instincts do kick in to want to buy and not miss out, and we've got to just pretty much zoom back out, and that's what I was doing yesterday. You can see that this bubble is very unusual. If you look at the last 45 days of Digibyte, this has definitely not happened for a very, very long time. And the fact that Digibyte has not got their new website up, they haven't got their new logos yet, they haven't released DigiSign, there's pretty much absolutely nothing going on in the space, except for, I know that they've got great fundamentals, I know they've got the great team, whether this is buy on the rumour, which could possibly be happening. Maybe they have set up an arrangement with one of the major banks. They've been doing stuff with Citibank, and you never know. Maybe something's going to be released in the next month or so. And you know what? I think if there is an arrangement with some of these bigger companies, they're definitely going to be getting in now, and they'd be doing very specific injection of money into the space so that they can benefit the most, whether you call that inside trading or not. But you know, I think that comes with the territory when you have an arrangement with someone and you're looking to get them involved. I mean, if Digibyte's at its lowest price, I'd be saying, well, how about we hold off on all the releases? How about you give us or inject your 200 million into the space, maximise it, and then we'll launch and release everything, and you'll do really, really well and love us. Sort of makes good business sense. But if you want to have a look at this and have a look at the activity, just look at the charts a little bit harder. Have a look at these little buy walls. I mean, I can admit I'm obsessed. I'm a fairly obsessive type of character, fairly intense sort of guy. I have watched this entire space. I mean, I can sit here and watch these markets. I can happy to watch these numbers go up and down because I'm learning. I'm learning from this space, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I have identified this particular event occurring, and it hasn't been the only time. At the beginning, when I was in in April, I had no idea. I just thought, oh wow, you know, this is amazing. But then I've been watching all the different pump groups and learning how they behave, and you can see there is a big difference between the real big boy and just the little 2-3 hour pump and dump. So just be mindful. That's all I'm pretty much sharing with you, is just that I think that this entire space may evolve into something maybe a little bit more deceptive in the future, when some more calculated. No one really trusts the Wall Street boys, and they're going to get involved into this space at some stage. And I really do believe that this is the future for them. This allows them to maximise profits, make more profit from us, the unsuspecting investor, buying at the wrong times, silly trades, inexperience. They'll have technology and software and probably some very smart, savvy people invested in studying the economics of this entire space and learning from that. Whereas you and I, we just come in and out. Sometimes we make mistakes. Unless you're playing the long game, I think you'd be pretty safe. I keep saying that, and I want to keep repeating that. This is not trading advice. This is called awareness. Bit of a ramble, really. That's sort of my word for this week. And I do get onto these type of little thought trains, I suppose. But I want to share it with you only because I see it. I want to call it as I see it. And if that helps someone, maybe make a better decision or learn, and understand the reality that we live in. Everything's manipulated when it comes to the markets. There is absolutely no doubt that crypto is going to get highly manipulated in the future, and we could see some coins that are purely just manipulations. On the outside it looks like a brand, on the inside full of Autobots and ebbs and flows based on what they want to occur, because they control the market capitalization for that particular brand. And that's what I'm sort of trying to learn and get a grasp of, only because I'm an investor just like everyone else. Whether it's $50 or $100,000, you want to make the best decisions for you and your family, and understanding what we're getting involved in is pretty important. And this is really, really new for me. It's really, really new for most people, and I think it can be a little bit overwhelming, and I think all I want to see is people do well. So I'm going to shut up. If you want to check out my article from the other day, you can see that I've got the buy wall picture there. You can see what happened. I actually took a photo just before the Bitcoin crash yesterday, because I thought this is it, and it's going to retrace to 600. I wasn't too far off, got to 608 or something, 623, but it's bounced back. And how long will this go for? I reckon just sit back and watch. And I've already got a fairly good position in Digibyte, so I'm sitting and watching this event unfold, and we'll see if it actually does retrace. And if it goes to 2,000 sats and beyond, I'm going to be happy. If you wanted to get into Digibyte right now because you believe in the technology and development team, then go and do that. But just be prepared for it to swing either way. We're in the most volatile sector in the world right now, but you never lose if you never sell. So whatever you buy now, in 2 years time you're going to probably be happy, whether it's 200 sats, 2000 sats, 200. Definitely you can make better positions early on. I get that, but I think the long game's going to win. But anyway, shut up. So ending that, what I wanted to do was bring back this public service fork. And what I might do is, because I've just rambled for 20 minutes, I'm going to close this video and then I'm going to do another one on this, and just so you're not so people can actually get this from the start of the video. So that's all I wanted to share. Digibyte part 2 of the manipulation ramble on a Wednesday, and I'll do this Bitcoin video separately.